everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. I have with me Ralph Hogan, who is going to be with us for 2 hours. So, how are you doing, Ralph?
Very well, very well. It's nippy out there this morning, but a nice day.
Yes, I would say it was a bit nippy, 34 degrees. I didn't think it was going to get that cold, but it sure did. Well, I saw news reports that the national debt has gone over $38 trillion, but I don't think so.
You lock the door?
Yes.
Okay.
Why? Who's there?
Sherry Balser.
Oh,
I'll go get her.
great.
Gonna get Mike Smith.
All right. So we skipped it on Friday, but Saturday was St. Crispin Day. And St. Crispin Day, most people don't know about it. It's the date for the Battle of Agincourt, which happened 610 years ago, and from which we get the casual ability for us to extend our middle finger as a sign of disrespect to someone else.
My.
In England, it's not a single finger, it's two fingers, which is why when you see Winston Churchill doing the peace sign, he does it this way, because this is an impolite thing. And
So they spread them slightly?
They spread them.
I thought World War II, Winston Churchill, that was victory.
It is. This is victory.
The other way is
Yes.
have a nice day.
Because the French at the Battle of Agincourt, who outnumbered the Brits 2-1, threatened to cut off the fingers of all the British archers with their long bows. And so at the end of the battle, the British held up two fingers to show they still had them.
My.
Mike Smith.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
There's no Zoom this morning, so okay.
All right. So I've got you on the mic.
Okay.
So the other thing, Shakespeare wrote a come on in and have a seat, Sherry. Morning. Had Henry V, the English
Morning.
king, talk about St. Crispin's Day, the fact that the Brits were outnumbered 2-1. And that's where, from World War II, we get the expression "the few" about the RAF protecting England. Henry VIII says, "We few, we happy few, we band of brothers." And so that's where we get the band of brothers line.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes on to say, "For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, the day shall gentle his condition, and gentlemen in England, now abed, shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhood cheap, while any speak that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day." So
Learn something new every day.
I always thought that was
So,
important.
forward-facing victory.
Yeah. So Sherry Barbosa, who is running for city council in South Lowell, right?
Yes, and I'm still writing.
Oh, you're still,
I'm still writing for school committee in South Lowell and Belvedere.
okay. All right. So looking back in history, in 312, Constantine the Great is said to have received his famous vision of the cross. And why this might be important is, otherwise, John's ancestors would still be pagans. In 1682, Philadelphia was founded in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And why that's important is, otherwise Ben Franklin would still be in Boston and driving the people crazy.
You make these great little comments, and there is such great opportunity for conversations on each one. Like, our families would still be pagans, because as we know, the Irish were pagans.
Yeah.
And continuing on with the religion piece, so you're putting all those little things on the table that we could have many conversations about.
Yeah. In 1838, the Missouri governor, Laverne Boggs, issued the extermination order, which orders all Mormons to leave the state or be killed. That seemed a little extreme to me.
Yeah,
Again, we're living in extreme times again, aren't we?
In 1962, Major Rudolph Anderson, U.S. Air Force U-2 pilot, was shot down and killed flying over Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Also on this day, by refusing to agree to the firing of a nuclear torpedo at a U.S. warship, Vasily, I'm not very good on my Russian today, Akhepi averted nuclear war. The protocol required the captain, the first officer, and the political officer to all agree for there to be a nuclear release. And this gentleman, who went on to be a 3-star admiral, said, no, this is not nuclear war. And today, in 2018, a gunman opened fire on a Pittsburgh synagogue, killing 7 and injuring 6, including 4 police officers. This was the Tree of Life synagogue in Squirrel Hill. And he's been convicted, but he's still awaiting punishment.
Could we go back to the Cuban Missile? I was a kid back then, but I remember the gentleman, the pilot, got shot down, but I don't remember the Russian officer refusing to launch.
Oh, yeah. He had been death-bombed. The ship had been death-bombed by an American destroyer. And
They were ready to retaliate.
yes, they were. They were not happy.
I can see the provocation, but I just don't remember that. For some reason, I don't remember that incident.
Well, I don't think it was obvious at the time. Only later did it come out. So in 1940, John Gotti, the American mob boss, was born. He passed away in 2002. In 1942, Lee Greenwood was born, who wrote Born in the USA. Let's see. Hold and accept. Merge.
That is a sophisticated phone.
And he knows how to use it.
I'm just one step above Dixie Cup and String.
Well, now, I have no idea what I'm doing, apparently.
Well, you got
There it
Eileen,
is.
and that's a good thing.
There it is. Hello, Eileen.
Good morning, everybody. I could hear that was Ralph Hogan. Is that right?
Yes, it's good to hear your voice.
Good morning.
Is the coffee ready?
Sorry I'm late. I'm running on either, up to 60 to... I'm running between a 10 to 80-minute delay with everything I do lately.
Yeah, well, you were a lot earlier than you were Friday. Also, out there somewhere is Mike Smith.
I am there.
Oh, good.
Okay, In 1963, Marla Maples was born. American model and actress. We all know
That was
Marla
one of
Maples,
Trump's
right?
wives, right?
Right, that's right. Today is International Religious Freedom Day. Go ahead, Eileen.
I was just going to say the mother of Tiffany, right?
Yeah.
I believe. Okay.
It's National Black Cat Day in the United Kingdom. It's the unofficial Navy Day in the United States. And it's World Day for Audiovisual Heritage. When I was a kid in school, being allowed to be the audiovisual kid was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. The kids love movies.
Yeah. So, Ralph, you're a contractor, right?
Semi-retired.
Semi-retired.
But yes, a contractor. I still dabble.
Is there much contracting in Lowell? I mean, I thought the city was pretty built up.
I have limited exposure to Lowell. But yes, I would say, every piece of property is either being redeveloped or rehabbed or built on. There are some pretty big projects underway. So, I think the city's brisk. The business in the city is brisk.
Are prices going up?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, and getting certain products sometimes is a difficulty. If you need a certain species of wood, Douglas fir or, it's cedar decking is very expensive.
We're getting our front porch rebuilt.
So you know the cost of decking.
Oh, and the contractor came and cut a big portion out of it so that he could go to the millworks and get it done exactly, because apparently we're in a heritage area, so it's got to look like it looked.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, you can't even paint your house
So-
without special paint if you're
So-
in the heritage area.
So Sherry, tell us a little bit about you. You were born in Lowell?
No, I was born in Lawrence,
Oh,
sister city.
you escaped.
Ooh. I escaped
Good
from
morning,
Lawrence.
Gary. I didn't realize you were there, too.
Good morning, Eileen. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
We had great neighborhoods back in the day. I grew up in a great neighborhood, and we had Portuguese, we had tons of Irish. I had a good childhood. I had a great neighborhood. I went to St. Patrick's School in Lawrence, so I had that great 8 years. So, and then I made my way to Lowell, and when I came to UMass Lowell.
So then you got married.
Yes.
You have kids.
I have a bunch of kids.
Did you have a job after college? Do you have a job today?
I have a job today. I work in human services, actually, which is a huge reason why I'm running.
Do you work in government human services?
We're contracted with the Department of Developmental Services.
Ah,
So I work with families and individuals that have intellectual disabilities, a lot of them on the autism spectrum. And I also work the medically complex program, which has been a great education to our healthcare system. So
okay.
it's impactful, and I've got to see a lot of areas of Lowell in the city, because I don't just work in Lowell. I work other parts of the Northeast, all the way out to Metro West, and out as far as Worcester, actually.
Okay. So, Mike, go ahead.
You would know the Bresnahans from Lawrence, would you?
What do you want me to say now, Cliff?
We're discussing the Bresnahans from Lawrence, but I was about to cue you up to talk about British Columbia.
Interesting.
Oh, yes. Okay. That's why I was wondering what you're asking me. So I did the research. That is true what you sent me, even though it sounds crazy.
We ought to tell the
Recently-
audience what it is.
What's that, Cliff?
We ought to tell the audience what happened out there.
Yes, I'm going to explain that.
Sorry.
So, in British Columbia, they recently had a court ruling that the Cowichan tribe, Cowichan, Kathy just gave me the correct pronunciation, Cowichan tribes won in court for land rights. Years ago, it was supposedly a fishing village. They used it for fishing, the tribe did, and they want the land back on that in this town of Richmond. And so the court has said that that's their land now. And there's a ton of houses and businesses and that all are built in that area, and they have mortgages and they have property that they thought they owned. So now the courts are saying that it belongs to the Cowichan tribe. It's going to be appealed, but there's a lot of debate on whether they really lived there or not, the Cowichan tribe. Various stories say they only came there to do fishing instead of actually living there. So right now it's all in flux on whether the people own the property or not. Supposedly the Cowichan tribe says they're not going to kick people out, but then there's going to have to be maybe some fees or money that's going to have to be paid for those people to continue to live there. So it's in flux in the courts right now for appeals, but there's a lot of debate because supposedly back when the British took over that property, they were given that land by the king at the time. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but right now it affects people that live there. And it's not just that one tribe. There's other tribes in the area. And this is a precedent in Canada on how this is being done by the courts. It could affect many other areas all over Canada.
So this area is going to be sort of like Baltimore, Maryland, where the property owners and the homeowners are not necessarily the same people. You think?
Yeah, it could be similar. Let me give you a kind of another take on that. So we live in Florida. We live in a senior community. So we have bought our home that we live on. They're manufactured homes, mobile homes that people live in. But we don't own the property. We just pay a monthly lot rent so that we can live here. We don't own the land, but we own the mobile home or the manufactured home that we live in. So I'm looking at it as similar to what could happen to these people that are living in this area in Richmond. That tribe could say, okay, you can still live here, but every month you got to pay us, or every year you got to pay us to live on our property.
So a friend of John and mine, Charles Supin, wanted to know if the municipality will be able to collect taxes on the land. I wouldn't think so.
That I don't know. I don't know how they're going to be able to collect taxes on the land because they don't own the property.
Yep.
So, like, I don't pay property taxes for where I live now. The owners of the property pay the property taxes. And since it's an indigenous tribe, they don't pay any taxes to the Canadian government. So, in some ways, I don't know how the local municipality is going to function if they can't collect property taxes to provide services to the people. So it's a real mess out there. I'm not sure what's going to happen in an appeal, but it'll be quite interesting.
John had a question.
I don't have a question, I just got a statement. Of course the Indians are gonna charge you. It's like if you rent space from a not-for-profit, they pay no taxes, you pay rent. So you're gonna pay whatever the Indians tell you they want. And so, well, they can't get real estate taxes. Well, they can say, okay, what would the town get? The town would get $25,000. Cool. Send us $25,000. It's the Indians' land. They can do whatever they want with it. And they can call their fees whatever they want. Wump them.
So, is this when we do these land acknowledgements, is this where we're heading?
Cliff,
Well, I'm
Cliff,
not sure. I mean,
do you know anybody who lives on this land?
This is not the same as in the United States. It's in Canada. But this is a precedent-setting case. I guess the judge, and more than one article talked about it being a liberal judge, that 870 pages for this ruling that was set out on this. So it's going to be quite interesting what happens in an appeals court, because if this stands, it's going to affect more than just this area in Canada. It's going to affect quite a few areas. Plus, now they're talking about with investments that nobody's going to want to invest, corporations. It's a big energy sector out there. Nobody's going to want to invest in anything because they don't own the property. They don't have the rights on the property. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens down the road on this case.
John, did you have another comment?
What does this have to do with the Dawn Patrol? Do you know anybody does anybody in this region of the country live there, have property there, have any kind of interest there? And we're already talking about history that nobody's ever heard of, and now we're talking about land nobody has interest in. Should I tell the guests to come at 6:30?
John, just out
Just
of
ask him the
curiosity, have you
Yeah.
ever heard people make land acknowledgements in the United States?
No.
Do you know about that?
No.
Anybody know about that?
In regards to,
Well, usually universities do this. The president of the university stands up and we acknowledge that this land was originally
Yes,
owned
yes.
by the Wampanoags.
I went to a Syracuse graduation and they acknowledged at the graduation.
So if we acknowledge that the land was originally owned by thus and such,
Yes.
can thus and such take us to court and ask for the land back?
I mean, we came in and called them everyone savages here when we were, I know, it's a very complicated question. But,
Yeah, 870 pages.
yes.
Some of the caveat on this ruling is that supposedly there was supposed to be land granted for a reservation for this tribe, and it never happened. So that's part of what's involved with this ruling.
Breach of contract.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
on how that's going to affect an appeal or not.
So, John, if this legal philosophy filtered across the border
Cliff,
down to here,
my point is,
we could lose our property.
my point is,
Yeah?
if you want to talk about soccer, our audience doesn't care about soccer. And that's what I've been trying to tell you for weeks. Should the guests come at 6:30?
Oh, no.
Because
I
you
enjoy
make
the
them
input.
sit there, listen to this stuff that nobody knows anything about, and when no one will cast a thought to.
But isn't that education?
I'd love to see the map. You
Hey,
need to bring the
Cliff's the
map.
host. I'm just trying to influence it. Look, we have an audience. Do you want to know what happened to horses in 1812? Or what king they had in 1782?
We'll get to that later down in the notes.
I'm sure you will.
You might be worth discussing at a different point in time, a throwback point, in other words. Beyond,
I guess Cliff and I have to sit down and decide what kind of audience do we want to have on Mondays? and again on Fridays. And
I would
what
say
makes-
anything beyond 1952, which is about when you were born.
No, tell Cliff. I don't. Cliff's the host.
Once we go beyond our birth date, we're really in the dark.
Once we go beyond our birth date, we figure out why we're in the mess we're in.
Because history repeats.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. The only thing that I can remember is a situation in Pepperell. I'm trying to get it local, John, where a gentleman built a large structure. Had a problem with the town. They wouldn't give the OC, the occupancy sign off. And basically, he leased it to the Anglican Church. They had to give the OC because churches can be put anywhere. And then the church
Well, that
leased.
brings up a good point, Cliff. Since the council keeps going to Toronto, why don't you talk more about Canadian stuff?
Well, the church leased it back to the owner, and he put his shop in the basement, and the church was upstairs, and everybody was happy. That's the closest I could come to the situation. But the Indians could make a lot of money here.
They could, because they were here first. Well, no, we don't actually know they were here first. Who was here first? Well.
The aliens.
Well, definitely not the kings from other countries. They were not here first.
The aliens were here first, Cliff. Don't you know that?
I can believe that.
Well, there's more coming out about the aliens.
So, Eileen's apparently talking to her son. So they arrested two of the suspects in the theft of the crown jewels from the museum in Paris.
Yes, I saw that.
I didn't see that they got the jewels back though. $100 million.
What I found interesting in that story, reading the journal, the company that makes the lift that went up to the window or the gallery where they entered the Louvre and got the jewels, is putting it on an ad for their lift. I thought that was very ingenious.
Yes, and pretty responsive. I mean, the heist was a week ago, and they've got an ad out already saying how good their lifts are.
My son actually told me last week he wants to go on vacation to Paris and visit the Louvre. So it apparently reached him.
It's very educational, Eileen. I mean, the artwork is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Whistler's mother is a little disappointment. I say a little disappointment because it's wicked small.
Well, you have to put it in context of time.
A painting right across the wall is regular frame size. Same year.
Well, as it is today, most art museums are, gifts. Everybody can't be building a White House. I mean,
So that's true.
Well,
Is
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, that came up in my conversations this weekend about destroying parts of the White House when I spoke to someone. Well, I spoke to multiple someones in wheelchairs and differently abled who it's disgraceful to not be able to enter our city hall. It's like you have the side door entrance for people with different disabilities. And the city or the state will claim that it's because it's a historical place. Well, isn't the White House? The White House was built by historical people, particularly slaves, and they're destroying that. So we were having that conversation, and I had the conversation with the people here in Lowell who've lived here in the city for a long time and said, we're not able to enter the main entrances of the building because it's a national park area, and I said, let's look into this further, because why should people that are exceptional to the rule be taught in basements in schools? They're always in the basements. And why can't you enter the front door? So everyone, what I've talked about a lot and with all different people is that we all have to be valued for what we can bring to the table. And talking about the White House and taking away history it rubs me really wrong.
But the East Wing, which is what was torn down, wasn't put up until 1942.
That part?
Yeah. So we're taking down something that's as old as I am, but
Okay.
But doesn't go back to the British burning it in 1812. It doesn't go back.
We're
quite that
altering
far.
it, and you do realize that we've had slaves up until the last century.
There are slaves today.
Exactly.
Fortunately,
I think I am one.
fortunately, except for illegal immigrants, not in the United States. So, right?
Well, I can get onto the subject of a lot of different things that are happening. People are brought over indentured servitude still to this day, so
And that, yes, and that's wrong.
it's all wrong. It's very wrong. We don't talk about it enough.
Yeah. Well, some people do.
Well, can I just give the contractor perspective on this?
Yes, go ahead.
I understand clearly what you're talking about, but that city hall is so damn old. I mean, and it's granite. And you can remodel a wooden structure, but when you get to granite, the cost goes right out of sight. The interior has been modified to assist and accommodate handicap. And there are two doors left and right of the building.
I'm telling you what people said. I understand.
Okay,
I think the building is beautiful, and we're not going to alter those types of things. But we can look into it so that everyone has that level of respect. And I don't disagree. And this is coming from people. And like I said, when I was, when I started running, I said, I'm here for the people. And that's it. And so their voice wants to be brought to light. I just brought their voice to light.
Okay, but if you are here for the people, are you here for all the people?
I am here for all the people.
Then I am one of the people.
In the city of Lowell.
In this conversation.
In this conversation, yes.
So, I am all for access, ability to any public building, especially public buildings, even homes, in my opinion.
Okay.
I had an uncle that was in a wheelchair. I had an uncle that was blind. World War II wasn't very friendly to society.
I agree.
At what point does the public have to pay to alter a marble stone building or a granite stone building?
Okay.
Cost has to come into the picture, in my opinion. I'm not saying don't allow people in. What I'm saying is cost to do the alteration has to be considered, because not everybody wants to pay for it.
I agree 100%. Not everyone wants to pay for it, and I'm not in disagreement. I'm just bringing that voice to the table because those voices aren't here. We're here articulating ourselves because we have those voices. This particular person has cerebral palsy. I had to sit there or stand there and listen very slowly, very carefully, and have other people give input. Everyone needs a voice at the table, and that's their voice. And there's plenty of people, like I said, and I've said before, my daughter, who's nonverbal autistic, is 27. She's not going to come sit here and advocate for her needs, is she?
Not well, but that's
Not
why
well?
we, as
She's not going to at all. She might, trash the
But
chandelier.
that's why the state building commission has mandated there has to be reasonable accommodations made. And all I'm pointing out is a building built 2 years ago is easy to modify. One built decades and decades ago out of stone,
Okay.
not so.
Do they have AC in that building? City Hall?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Liam Skinner brought up a really great point. I was actually very proud of him. That's our superintendent.
He's a wonderful man.
And I don't agree with him all the time, but I 100% agreed with this, and I think he's really advocating for our students and our teachers. This is workplace environment as well. He said the optimum level for our children to learn at is 72 degrees. Did you know that? I did not know that. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Optimum temperature, and that we need ACs in our schools. Teachers are teaching, and it can be 100 degrees in that classroom, and the students are there, and how many students are paying attention when it's at, 80 plus 90 degrees? But guess what? What has AC? City Hall. And that old building, it's got AC. But yet our schools don't all have ACs. Actually, I don't think any of them do at this point.
To me,
Gary, can I just put in a public awareness notice that there is a joint facilities meeting with the city and school committee tomorrow night at the chambers. If you're interested in attending, maybe I didn't get to go on Thursday, but bring some of that verbiage, or if you even want to shoot me a quick text because I didn't hear. But that makes a lot of sense, and I hope Liam's there and says the same thing.
Yes, it was really well, along with the fact that we saw the new high school, which is phenomenal, and it ought to be for its pretty price tag. But yes, ACs.
I'm trying to think if any school I went to before I graduated from high school had air conditioning.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Did you go to school during the summer? You did not.
Well, if
Yes.
they didn't have jet
I
planes.
did. I took shorthand and typing
In the
at
summer.
Polytech during the summer, yeah.
That's high school?
High school, yeah.
Okay.
He was an advanced student.
My father told me I had to take shorthand and typing.
I took note hand. We actually didn't have shorthand. I took note hand.
But back to City Hall. The interesting thing is that what I think of as the handicapped entrance, which I use because I use my handicap placard to park right
Oh, where do you
Opposite.
park? Because there's really nowhere to park.
right on the street.
Just handicap.
There's a
Yeah.
handicap spot, and
And you're a veteran, so you did a double whammy there.
so anyway,
Yeah.
the elevator is all the way at the other end of the hallway.
Yes, it is.
So you have to motor down a little ways to
So
get
when
to
you
the
go
elevator.
across in a wheelchair, you just continued on with the fact that we need a new police station. We don't just need to renovate it with all these great funds and this, low forward plan and,
Sherry,
front runner
the city needs to understand what maintenance is. This house is 200 years old.
Yes,
It's had more maintenance than the police department has.
yes.
So we're replacing buildings because we don't take care of them.
Oh my gosh, it's appalling. It's all falling apart. I walked from the back parking, handicap space. Sorry, John, go ahead.
We have a beautiful police station, plenty of elbow room, but no, we're never going to do anything to the building, so we have to get a new one. The city of Lowell has been run by people who don't know what maintenance is, and have a city councilor just look the other way because we want to get our friends a job. And this is just a cycle that's been going on since way before you were born.
Well, it has
Sad but
to
true.
end. It has to end.
No, it's not.
But it needs to end.
If you want
To
your
walk-
kid if you want your kid to get a job, shut up and just leave
But
it
that's
alone.
the problem, is that
Well, that's what they tell you.
I will not shut up.
That's what they'll tell you. You want your kid to get a job?
You know they're trying to shut me up, right? You know that they're taking my
Sherry,
signs
I'm
down.
using it for a figure of speech, not used personally, okay?
Mhm.
But in the city of Lowell, you can ask city councilors, do any of your relatives work for the city? And they'll say, so nice to see you. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Ask a few. Ask a few school committee people.
I would be interesting, Eileen, could I put you on the spot for a moment?
Sure.
Is the new high school that just built, does that have air conditioning?
What's the term they use? The windows? The windows don't open, so it has to have,
AC.
yes. But then there's, again, no natural air. And back to what you and Cliff were originally talking about, Sherry, at least buildings back then had normal filtration and ventilation. You know what I mean? There wasn't so much
I get it.
of this smorgasbord of stuff that you're breathing in. Plus the global warming with all the toxins in the air. I mean, there weren't as many toxins like from the big buses and the pollution and all of that. So you really have to have a building that has the right exact mix. And that's really tough, right? And then on top of it, it's almost safer just to have air conditioning in all the buildings right now instead of opening all the windows.
Let me just put this into your pretty ear, okay? The city is building a sick building.
Yes.
The city does not know what maintenance is. We're rejuvenating a high school that's 100 years old with windows that will never open. And we're going to use filters to clean the air. Now, maintenance is not in any part of our language in the city of Lowell. In 5 years after it's open, guaranteed, it'll be a sick building with people suing the city to clean the building and get windows that open.
Eileen, have you ever heard the term smog, S-M-O-G?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, well, back in the old days, we had smog. Before we were worried about global warming, when we were worried about global cooling, we had smog.
Well,
A lot
Cliff,
of
next
people
time we
died from it.
get COVID, everybody in the high school will get COVID. Everyone will. Next time we have a virus that's contagious, everyone in the high school will get that virus.
Because the air will just circulate right through.
The windows don't open. Let's give him an extension on his contract. Now's the time to get out and vote, kids.
Well, that's a good point. The only way
Thank
to
you,
get
Cliff.
the attention of the politicians is if everybody gets out and votes. We need people all over Lowell to get out and vote like they lived in the Belvedere. It's important. And it's important that when we see people who are our neighbors in Lowell, that we encourage them to get out and vote.
100%.
It's,
Could you extrapolate a bit on that vote, like they're from where?
Belvedere. They have a higher percentage of voter turnout, probably correlated to the fact that they're property owners.
Exactly.
Well, isn't that a slant on the poor folks from Pawtuckaville?
They're up there pretty close.
They are, but the fact of the matter remains is that Belvedere has the highest turnout. They had the most people running as well in districts. I mean, four people were running.
The at-large members of the city council and the school committee are elected by the voters in Belvedere, Pawtuckaville, and the Highlands.
And do they all come from Belvedere?
I don't think so.
No, they don't.
But Belvedere is the one who says, yeah, they're
So
going to
if
be
we
the
take
at-large.
this a step further, the problems with the way the city has run and the employment issues that John has talked about could really be brought back to the Belvedere folks. Therefore, Sherry and I are on the downward side, and you, sir, you've caused a lot of problems. What do you have to say for yourself?
No. God put me there to try and solve problems. I was trying to find a house in Derry.
And you ended up in Lowell? Boy, oh boy,
Yes.
you didn't have a map.
No, I didn't. It took us months to get here. I moved up here in February, and we closed the house in July. I don't know. I was in Europe. My wife did it. So
That's tough getting stuff done though when you're in Europe. It's not easy moving.
no. So Sherry, some voters are probably going to be going away and going to work at 7 o'clock. So do you want to give us just a couple of minutes on your campaign, and then we'll talk about Zohan Mandani in New York?
I'm running for a voice for everyone, as we were just talking about. I have 5 children, and my oldest is nonverbal autistic, and my youngest is 5 and is at the Mori School. And my husband is an immigrant from Brazil. I also speak Português, eu falo português, sim. Eu tenho as pessoas aqui que me atender. Estou aqui para todo mundo. I'm here for everyone. And whether you're unhoused, whether you're a renter, whether you're a house owner, as I am, and if you call Lowell home, that's it. I want to help give a voice to everyone and bring that voice to the table. Our public hearings are not public hearings because not everyone knows about it. So I would like to get that information out and be able to share what is going to impact us, whether it be crosswalks, whether it be a better education for our children, which is huge and at heart, as everyone knows. Bring back cursive. There's a place for typing, there's a place for keyboards and computers, but our children are losing how to learn. They need time for play. They need time to grow, not just have 2-hour blocks of ELA. And our children are our future. So if you would like to have a better future for Lowell, our buildings maintained, that is my perspective. I'm not going anywhere. I will be here. And irregardless of what anyone else says and criticizes, I will persevere on for everyone here, whether you have a voice or not. Thank you. Please vote for me on November 4th.
Sherry, does it chafe you that Brazilians are not grouped in with Hispanics?
Brazilians are not Hispanics. Latino is what Brazilians would fall under. Contrary to what a lot of people think, they speak Portuguese. The king of Portugal is who colonized Brazil. So it is a huge part of South America, but they speak Portuguese. So they are not Hispanic.
That's the
Spanish.
language that's most spoken in South America. Portuguese.
I would say so, because Brazil is a huge part of South America. But the rest are all Spanish, or actually there's actually English speaking parts of South America as well.
So it just seems strange to me. Iberian Peninsula, Portugal and Spain are cheek to jowl, and we make this great distinction. So that's just me. John, do you have this chart handy?
Nope.
Oh, that's too bad. Because of
I'm
this.
still trying to get Facebook working, Cliff.
Oh.
When I get over that hurdle, we'll be fine.
Well, then we won't talk about schools. We'll talk about New York City. So on the 4th of November, they're having an election, and the leading candidate is Zohan Mandani, who is a socialist, and he's running against Andrew Cuomo, who is I don't know how to describe Andrew Cuomo. and the Republican candidate Curtis Silva, and there's an independent, Joseph Hernandez. So if New York goes with Mamdani, what are the implications for the rest of the country? You got a thought, Mike?
Well, this is how I see it. It's easy to promise all this free stuff when it's other people's money. But then when you run out of other people's money, what do you do then? And I'm almost sure that if New York City is going to go bankrupt or running out of people's money because they're trying to provide all these free things that he's promising, the federal government, the current administration, is going to give them $0 and let them fall down the tubes. So, I mean, the people that are going to be affected the most are not the rich people, because they're going to just leave New York City. I'm from New York State originally. They're going to just leave. That's what they've already been doing. They're going to go to Florida. They're going to go to Texas. They're just going to leave. So where is the burden of paying for all this stuff going to be? On the regular people, the middle-class people. So, he's promising all this stuff, and it's not going to be successful. Chances are he's going to get elected, but we'll have to see what the voter turnout is, because the latest polls show about 80% of the Jewish population is going to vote for Cuomo. So if they're all turning out to vote and the other people don't, Cuomo could win. It could be in defiance of the polls. But if he wins, I don't know what's going to happen, because he's never run anything. He's never run a business, never overseen something of this magnitude. New York City is going to be in trouble if he wins as mayor.
So you're saying that Como will not run an efficient ship?
No, I didn't say that. I said that Cuomo, he would understand how to manage things a lot better because he has experience. This guy is just running on, let's have a change. And I don't believe, being from New York, and I understand New York City, you got to know what you're doing. There's a lot of different politics and things to do. And this guy, Mamdani, does not have the support of the police department at all. So that's going to be a big, big problem for New York City. It's not going to be a pretty picture if he wins.
I tend to agree with you.
But if he wins, doesn't that strengthen the Bernie Sanders, Sandy Ocasio-Cortez wing of the Democratic Party?
It's not going to strengthen it if it's a disaster, and New York City ends up being a disaster. The people are looking more and more at all this stuff going on. Look at Chicago. They say they don't have a problem, but they got the highest murders in the country. They look at the major cities and what party has been running them and how they're run and what's been going on. It's not been a pretty picture. And New York City now, this guy has no management experience. He was a representative for a few years. That's about it. But he doesn't have any background. New York City is like running another country. It basically is. The size of it and all the things that are going on. And it's not going to be, I just don't see how things are going to turn out well. And that's why people are leaving New York City. And what people forget nowadays, they go, you got the stock exchange there, you got all these businesses. With the internet and electronics now, they don't need to be in New York City anymore. And if they don't think it's worth it, financially wise, they can just get up and leave.
That's true. I saw something that since 2010, $14 billion worth of income left New York and went to Florida. That's a lot of money.
And those people all pay taxes. So they move to Florida, and they don't pay any state income tax then. They just pay federal. So, if it's not going to be business friendly, or he's talking about raising the corporate income tax in New York City, he's talking about raising all these things going on. and then he's going to give away all this free stuff. Where's the money going to come from if the businesses leave? They're not going to want to stay where it's not to their advantage.
Sherry, you got a thought?
I'm thinking about the fact that food stamps are supposed to stop November 1st. And that's going to affect the whole country, so.
Well, that's a little bit of a controversy here in Massachusetts because the state government is blaming Donald Trump, whereas U.S. Rep. Clark is claiming credit. for the Democrats.
Facebook's all set, by the way.
Oh,
I just want to back the bus up a little bit while Sherry processes your question. You'll notice the headdresses on a lot of the gentlemen in the background there. What do you think that's going to do to the New York audience? This is a rally that Mondami had last night with all the big shots. AOC was there. This guy from Vermont, I forget, his name's sliding by me right now, you guys will tell me. And this was a big rally he had last night, and it says, freeze rent, free buses, child care for all, and they think money really grows on trees. So they don't realize that every red cent the government is doling out came out of your pocket. And I think when the New York voters see this on the front page of whatever paper they have today, maybe they're going to wake up. So I don't want to pay for your free bus ride. I don't want to pay for your free kids. I don't want to pay for anything for you.
well, let's go to break, which will give Sherry another minute to think about it. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen Delrossi is on the phone over in Christian Hill. And we have Mike Smith down in Florida. With us, we have Ralph Hogan. And we have Sherry Barbosa, who's running for City Council in South Lowell and is putting herself forward as a write-in candidate for school committee for South Lowell in the Belvedere area. So you have to head off and take the kid to school. Why don't you give us a quick pitch on why we should vote for you?
Thank you. I want to bring back some of our older values. In regards to the school committee, which was the premise that I ran in 2019, I would like to be a voice for all. A lot of people that don't have voices, including my daughter, who's 27 and nonverbal, autistic. I am her voice, and the community is her voice. So I would like to be that voice for anyone in our community who needs a voice. I also would like to bring back those old ideals to, not ideals, our old ways of teaching to our school district. I'd also like to fully fund our schools, which was part of the premise why I am running for city council. We need to fully fund our schools. Our children's education is, if it's not valued, then our city does not have an advancement. We need to bring back cursive writing, invest in arts and music, and allow our children to flourish, no matter what their background is, no matter what their education was when their family came to this country, Lowell can do better. And I would like to help Lowell to do better by taking care of the education of our children, but also to advance our community by taking care of our buildings, as we have said, invest in having a police station that's accessible. And there are so many things that I can bring to the table that is not being voiced at City Hall. So thank you so much. And I know that we were just starting to talk about food stamps going off on November 1st, and I was just curious before I leave, what is your take on that?
My take on it is that the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has got a stranglehold on everything, and he wants to get the supplements for health care made permanent, the ones that came in during COVID. There's been a bill to exempt food stamps from the shutdown, and it's not been passed by Congress. It's a Republican-sponsored bill. So I think that Representative Clark is right, that some people are going to suffer, but they want to use this as a bludgeon to bludgeon the Republicans into extending the temporary extra money for health care.
And my resolution is, quit your party. I vote Americans into office. I don't vote party people into office. I vote for the best America for the project. Quit your party. This is a very good time to quit your disgraceful party.
Which is a good reason why people should study history.
My take on this, Cliff, is that we're asking the wrong question. They talk about we need to continue those subsidies, and the real question is, why the heck is health care so expensive?
Hey, Sherry's got to get rock and roll, so you done, Sherry?
Yes, thank you, sir.
That should be the real question. Instead of talking about we need to continue
Thanks, Sherry. Good luck.
helping people pay for it, you need to find out why is health care so expensive that people can't afford it. That's the real question.
Okay.
Thanks, Sherry. Good luck, kiddo.
Mike, to some degree, doesn't it go back to the AMA?
Are you talking about the American Medical Association?
Yeah, they have a very powerful lobby in Washington. Actually, it goes back to Washington. That's where the real problem is. Both parties.
I understand where you're coming from, but the thing is if these subsidies were so important that they felt that they're going to have them, why didn't they could have passed it and made them permanent to have the subsidies. But again, these subsidies are not getting to the root of the problem, which is the cost of health care. I mean, even, I'm on Medicare, okay? I'm over 65, and, I have to pay for certain things. And Part B, fortunately, I have Humana, and I don't have to pay that much for Part B. But Part B is going to be over $200 now every month with the new rate that's going up. And then if you're just on Medicare, you're paying $300 or $400 just for the supplemental plus dental and all the other stuff. Again, why is healthcare so expensive? And I look at it as all the bureaucracy and the paperwork, where, you look at a country like Canada or other countries that have national health care, they're not perfect. Nothing is. But over there, if you need to go see your doctor, you just go to the doctor and you see him and you leave. You don't pay anything. So it's a lot simpler, a lot less expensive to administer the program. Now, of course, the downside there is there are limits on how much they can do for so many people at a time. Like a knee surgery or something like that, you may have to wait a year before you can get it done. Nothing, like I said, is perfect. But everybody there can have health care. And here in the United States, it's whether you can afford it or not, or if you're so poor, the government says, okay, we'll let you have something. So again, the question is, why can't we have health care affordable for everybody so they can have health care?
Yeah,
Why are the benefits perpetual?
I'm sorry, what?
Why are the benefits perpetual? These people on SNAP, most of them very worthy. 20% should have been kicked off years ago. Yet they still keep getting their SNAP benefits. 20% of it goes just to pure waste.
Yeah, the question is, how do we sort that out?
Reapply. Annually, reapply. Oh, we can't do that because we have to work. Well, what are we paying you for?
I thought that Congress had passed a law saying that, with exceptions, everyone on these benefits had to work 20 hours a week. Does anybody remember that?
Well, I understand there's some of that in there, but they also have to make sure that they actually monitor that and they enforce it. But that's the rub, is that whether they monitor and enforce any of that.
Yeah,
They're not doing it.
well,
I think it goes back to, we have the best government money can buy.
there we are. Well, some good news. They've announced, Social Security says that the cost of living allowance, the COLA, for 2026 for Social Security is going to be 2.8%.
I had one person in the audience who loves to brag she's over 80, said soon to be they're going to stop charging income tax on Social Security. When is that going to happen?
I don't know.
Did you hear that?
I had heard that.
Thank you.
So, for every $1,000 in Social Security you get $28. So, more. Well, a nice meal out.
Nice pizza, a couple of times.
Yeah. So,
It's good that the Social Security is getting a bump, but we're just getting into that retirement changeover to Medicare and all that. But in the past, I remember my mother telling me every time Social Security gets a bump up, her insurance and other costs were affected, and she never really saw the increase.
Usually they give with one hand, take with the other. Is this the slide you're looking for, Cliff?
no.
Because the other one was just the Commonwealth seal.
Oh, I thought I had one more. Let's talk about the Commonwealth Seal for a
You
second.
gave me this one on
Let
Friday.
me, Cliff, let me
On
just go back
Thursday.
to the earlier, just the comment was made earlier about Social Security with it going up 2.8%. If the Part B goes up $20, and you only get a $28 raise, now you're only getting $8. And then if you look at Medicare, for example, a lot of times the co-pays when this happens go up, so they may go from $10 to $15, or a hospital stay, instead of paying $125 per day, you're paying $150 a day. So, because we just went to a meeting on all the new changes and what the co-pays are and all that. So that increase of $28 per $1,000 you receive from Social Security, you're barely even staying even. And that doesn't even take into account the new costs of auto insurance, food, all the other things that you're paying. So in a lot of ways, that's not even staying even with the new costs.
Correct.
I had a question for the audience for you, Mike. What does Mike or Ralph think about the betting scandal last week?
Outrageous.
But I couldn't hear that. Can you repeat that, Cliff, what he said, the whole question?
What do you think about the betting scandal involving the NBA last week?
Oh. Well, unfortunately, unfortunately, it doesn't shock me because there's a lot of crooked people out there. But it is terrible. And now, with things going on, that people are going to be less inclined to believe things are not crooked in sports. I think we've had a downfall with sports integrity since everything's promoted. I mean, even you watch the NFL now, every other commercial is a betting commercial. So, you know, when you bring that all in, there's always going to be issues. And from what I understand, the article I read is the mafia families from New York City were involved with a lot of this. So everybody thinks the mafia isn't around so much anymore, and they're all involved with all this stuff with the NBA, with the crooked poker games and all that. So.
Yeah, I think this has been going on for a long time, but now we're seeing the sloppiness of the new generation of mafia and NBA players, and like the not giving it their all or not seeing everything through. So I think this is an effect of like you're invincible, no consequences too, because it's a younger generation of mafia. It's a younger generation of NBA players. Before they knew how to do it silently.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that it could be, you know, this issue could be dropped at the doorstep of educators.
How's that?
Well, my theory would be anybody that's making $24 million a year and they're throwing a game for $200,000 and blowing a career of, I don't know, 5 to 10 years at $24 million, they really didn't pay attention in math class.
Well, it's all about greed. It's always about money and greed.
Yeah, but even if that, I agree with you fully, Mike, but, you know, think about it. If you're making $24 million and you got to blow your career for $200,000, at some point you have to be able to figure out ratios.
Yes.
Well, you have to be able to do it, you know, be smart enough or have an agent or somebody to make you understand all that stuff.
I believe that we can blame direct deposit for the disrespect of your salary. People just think it comes. I'm not beholden to anybody. There's nobody's name on my check. It just comes into my account. Stay here. That's why there's so much fraud going on with EBT and the SNAP stuff. It's all electronic. What's your address? You don't need my address.
The NBA has to take some decisive action at some point. I mean, that is a real scandal. It's going to affect sports and gaming.
And they're going to say, make us.
Slap on the wrist won't do it.
That's all that's going to happen.
What will happen that will make them is if attendance goes down.
Ain't happening.
We'll see. But
I agree with John on that. People are still going to come because they like watching basketball. But I mean, people are going to. I mean, I think that people are definitely going to go to jail for this.
Good.
But I hope it. I mean, I would find it very disappointing if they did.
Mike, rich people don't go to jail. Rich people do not go to. Look at OJ. Look how hard OJ had to try to. He practically had to kick the judge in the groin to go to jail.
Yeah, well, I think that we have a different administration now that they're looking to put people in jail. Of course, it all depends on the judge you get. See, that's the whole thing. Because the jury can find people guilty, but there's not very many states where the jury gets to make a recommendation on what the sentence should be.
Mike, I read in our local newspaper, the Lowell Sun, over the weekend. I believe the article was by Melanie Gilbert, our friend, and some guy who stabbed a woman was let out on personal recognizance and said, "Stay away from her." And you know what the judge gets? He gets to go home early on Friday. But she named the judge, which was kind of cool.
Yep, I did.
But sports betting has been a problem for a while. We had a Hall of Famer candidate in baseball that was involved in betting.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose. And then we go back to, about 1920, Chicago, and the Black Sox incident, and the famous line, "Say it ain't so, Joe," about Shoeless Joe Jackson. Some kid said to him, "Say it ain't so, Joe."
A warning from the audience. Please, Eileen, for your safety, let's not call the mob sloppy. You're Italian. I'm sure you understand.
Wait, what was that?
It was funny. Bart said, "You're Italian, you should understand. Don't call the mob sloppy."
No, I know, but I even heard this on a podcast about the older mafia people complaining about this new generation of monsters and how they don't understand everything, which was interesting. But, every time we start talking about this, I really have PTSD because I don't know if you guys remember back in the early 2000s, the UNLV telephone scandal that had to do with the basketball team at UNLV. And they had free telephone codes. It was like before cell phones, and it was to call home. And I remember I was involved in a lot of like student leadership and everything, and on like a good track and loving life at UNLV when I went there. And this director of the student leadership was like, "Hey, I know you call home a lot. Let me give you a code to help you." And I felt like so prestigious, like. I was like, okay, like, wow, I'm really making it here. Turns out that was a stolen code from the athletic department that was being used for a long time. I ended up losing a scholarship. I was a resident assistant. I lost my resident assistant hood. So anytime I hear about that, it just brings back those memories so vividly for me, and how athletes, and how people in positions of power have used over time, and have felt like they're never going to get caught. And, maybe they just needed an Eileen Delrossi to, help out, and then Murphy's Law would apply to all their lives, and they would be found out.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Comment from the audience. Also, don't forget the BC basketball scandal in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
What happened with the BC basketball scandal?
Clean shaving, I believe.
Yeah. You'd expect better from BC, but...
They're kids. They think they get away with anything.
Switching gears, the City of Lowell License Commission on Thursday is going to have a public hearing. The current rule now is that if you serve alcohol, you have to serve food. We have no standalone bars, we only have restaurants. And there's been a little issue with policing kids between 18 and 21 who sneak into bars with fake licenses and that then get served underage. And the law department has proposed that we separate restaurants and bars as a way of saying nobody under 21 can go into a bar. I think this is an important discussion. My personal opinion before the hearing is we ought to stick with what we have, because we've had some facilities that have in the past gotten a little out of line, and we don't want to encourage that kind of thing.
Can a bag of chips be food?
A bag of chips be food? Yeah, they're food, but they don't. Just having a bag of chips in the bar doesn't meet the requirement.
But what am I going to have?
You
If I
gotta
open
be
up Cliff's
serving some
Bar.
food.
Food, okay, tell me what when you say food, I can pop into McDonald's and get some fries, and that's food. I can go hit a vending machine and get a bag of chips, particularly a bag of Doritos. And Doritos are a full meal to many people. So, in your eyes, Cliff, before I'm going to do the announcements next, because Johnny Dakota's having a party, so is Kim Scott. So, what kind of food are you talking, buddy?
I think that you ought to be cooking something.
So I have to
Having a ghee dunk, a mechanical ghee dunk, is not the answer.
Okay, would you tell the audience I don't know what a ghee dunk is?
You don't know what a ghee dunk is?
Cliff, I'm stupid, okay? It's been established a long time ago. Well, just a second now. I'll ask the very intelligent Ralph Hogan. Ralph, what's a ghee dunk?
I have no
See, you're
idea,
just as
John. I went to school with you.
You're just as stupid as me. See that? Honest to God. So the ever-intelligent, the supreme brain in the room, Cliff, educate the audience.
Okay,
What is
elicit the
ghee
definition
dunk?
here.
A ghee dunk is on the ship where you go to pick up snacks and casual food.
What ship?
That's a
Commissary.
commissary. That's
It's a commissary. Yeah, you know, the USS Bush, for instance.
Is that a female thing you're talking about now?
Aircraft carrier.
Oh, okay. So
George
look, I'm going to go to the
W. Bush.
announcements since I don't care what Cliff's
That
answers
is a dining hall.
I don't care about Cliff's answers
No,
anymore.
this is different from the dining hall.
So, Johnny Dakota's having a party. It's going to be October 29th. Today's the 27th. So that makes it Wednesday. Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Mount Pleasant Golf Club. And he's got a website you can go to learn all about the great John Dakota. Love to see you at the party. By the way, while we're at this, I have called every candidate that's running for office. And John Dakota's opponent doesn't call me back, so I don't know what to tell you. Love to have the guy in here, doesn't call me back. Nothing you can do about it. Kim
He's
Scott.
a decent guy. He's campaigning.
If he doesn't, I'll speak to that in just a minute, Ralph. Kim Scott, she's having a party October 30th. So it's the committee to re-elect Kim Scott invites you to campaign fundraiser for Kim Scott, Lowell City Council District 5. October 30th, Thursday, 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Cavalero's, best steakhouse around. Cavalero's Steakhouse, 573 Lawrence Street, lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. Donations start at $20 and go up. Hope to see you over there. Now today is the 27th. So if you go out to Chelmsford Senior Center today, you're going to get a scrumptious barbecue sandwich, peppers and onions. I wish they had that when I went. French fries, it sounds delicious. 3 bean salad and peaches. $2, $2.50. Moving right along in Tewksbury and Dracut. Today they're going to have fajita sliced beef, red and green peppers, and onion, rice and black beans, tortola, and canned fruit. Alrighty. And then the last one, lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. Now, lovely Lowell, they serve lunch 7 days a week. So today's the 27th, stuffed chicken. So get over there around 10:30, plunk down your $2, and you should be happy. And that's my last announcement, Cliff. Going back to you to learn about the bar bill. You've had plenty of time to process the question now. I've
was
just
the question?
I've opened Cliff's Bar. What do you want me to cook? Turkey or hot dogs?
I want you to cook turkey, but that's my personal preference. But I want you cooking something.
So if I cook hot dogs, it's okay?
I would look askance at it, but I'd probably.
And
let
you mean by
skate.
scans, okay? So you're
No,
on
not
the
scance, askance.
you are on the board, Cliff,
Yeah.
and you use foggy language. What you're talking about here? I'm cooking hot dogs at Cliff's Bar. Is that okay? Does that meet the standard, or it doesn't?
I'd defer to the executive secretary, but if you came up,
Never mind.
If you
Move on,
came up
Cliff. If you don't want to
before
give
me,
helpful
Wait a
answer,
minute. John, do the
Listen
hot
to the
dogs
answer.
have
he
mustard
doesn't want
and
to give
relish?
He doesn't want to give a helpful answer. Turn the page. Thank you.
if you come up before me for serving underage people alcohol, that'll go into my consideration of what we should do about it.
What do you mean, whether the hot dogs have onions and relish?
No, whether you're making a serious effort to do food or you're
Okay.
just trying to blow me off.
I'm opening
Why
a
don't we
bar.
just abolish?
I don't like the restaurant part. I
Why
just
don't we
open the
abolish
bar.
bars?
I just open a bar. That's it. You want a beer? Come on in. You want a French fry? Go across the street.
I don't think we'd profit by having bars that just attract rowdy people.
It's up to the barkeeper.
It costs the taxpayer money.
Yeah.
How so, Ralph?
How much is a liquor license?
Oh, I don't remember what it is.
Ralph,
Depends on how late you stay open.
you said it cost the taxpayer money. How so?
The
Ask the
police.
police department, fire department on all the
Well,
calls.
last time I checked, the fire department's at work anyway. So's the police. Tell me more.
I'm just telling you that it's a lot of maintenance for the municipal
It's-
government,
It's
specifically police.
it's their job.
It just costs money.
It means you have to have more people, or you don't do policing
Good.
anywhere
Let's
else
hire
in
more
the city.
cops. Let's hire
What?
more cops. I'm all for hiring more cops. Let's hire some more cops.
And how are we going to pay for that?
It's already in the budget, Cliff. The city of Lowell doesn't... See, if you want your son to get a job as a police officer in the city, you need to muscle up to Tommy Golden's office. Hey, Tommy, baby. Can you make my son a cop? Well, Cliff, I'll do what I can for you. That's how it works in Lowell.
How much is the debt on the school?
50 million, but we're not going to talk about that till after the election. Shh.
I bet it's 100 million before it's done and said.
It's a freaking disgrace that our city council cannot read a budget, and they will never admit it. The budget that's presented to them, it's to make, Tommy tells them, pass it or your sister gets no job.
So I have a question, Cliff, as you're in the License Commission, and I know I've mentioned this before in the show. The one major thing I noticed very different from spending time in the Newton Wellesley area and here is that restaurants and bars don't have Keno, right? Around the Newton Wellesley area and in Lowell, in this whole Merrimack Valley, really mostly in Lowell, any restaurant you go to mostly has a game of Keno and so forth. There's only few that actually don't. So how do you think, what type of revenue do bars that have Keno generate that could help the city? And what do you think that money is going towards instead?
Family.
I don't know the answer to your question.
Because the city obviously gets money from all these restaurants and bars because of the license commission, because of being able to operate in the city, correct? They get
yeah,
something back.
They get so much money that the licensees don't even have any idea how much it costs.
And that's where I don't think there's accurate reporting all throughout the city, and people are making out, but not the right people, or definitely not the schools.
yeah. I'll have to look into that, Eileen, and see what I can figure out. But
It's
you
just
say they don't have Keno down where the rich people live.
No, and it's hard, yeah. And there's one place. It's just something I noticed because I would DoorDash around there in the summer, and then I would go have lunch, and it was just something that was very prominent, like distinctly different from Lowell. That it was nice, but people didn't care. People were just still enjoying and talkative, and it was distinctively different than like around here where there's like, you know, the Worthing, they have they have Keno, you know, they have it. Well, I guess the downtown area doesn't have so much Keno besides the Worthing, but like every restaurant, and you know, you go to Chelmsford, there's lots of Keno. What is that? And then Chelmsford. What do I think of the? Not the Grand 38, but the oh my God, Hong Kong. But that's more like Chelmsford, on the Chelmsford little line. Now I have to make a list of the restaurants that do have Keno and Lowell, because maybe it's really only like certain places.
No, I mean, out at Captain John's, when we go up to Captain John's,
yeah,
we play Keno. I mean, my wife loves playing Keno. When we go to Jade East in Tewksbury, we play Keno out there. And I think Keno's great, but it requires a personnel to handle the money.
Right, a separate personnel.
Well, I don't know if it's separate. I don't, because the girl at that takes all the money at the Jade East and the old buckaroo, I think he's since passed. Maybe he passed. Maybe he retired. I don't know. The old buckaroo up at Captain John's, he used to take care of all the money. So I think just the cashier can run it.
Yeah, I mean, let me think. Like Kilkenny's, I'm going to make a list for myself now. All right, of all these restaurants.
Okay.
Well,
So, what's it like down there in Clearwater, St. Pete area? I can't remember. Are there separate bars and restaurants, or is everything a restaurant?
I don't think I've ever gone into down here in Florida a place that doesn't serve food along with alcohol. So I mean, every place I've gone, any of the quote bars, you know, they all serve food. So I don't know if that's a requirement in Florida or not, but every place that we've gone, they all serve food along with alcohol. Whether it's a sports bar or a restaurant or, you know, where they have music, it's they always have food available with any place that serves food.
What about Keno? Is Keno big in Florida, Mike?
I don't really think I've seen Keno. Yeah, not in any of the restaurants I've gone into or bars. I haven't seen Keno. They have, yeah, I know what you're talking about with Keno because I've seen it in other states, but I haven't seen it down here in bars and restaurants that I can remember seeing. So I don't know if they allow gambling. Next time I go out, I'll look and see, but I don't know if they allow gambling. I mean, like the Legions, but they're private. They have like pull tabs or bingo, or they have what they call Queen of Hearts. But, you know, like the sports bars, I haven't really seen too much in any of them that I can remember. But next time we go out, I'll take a closer look.
Cliff, you want to read this question?
Like when I noticed it was just something like random, like they don't have Keno. Like that's just a lot different from here.
John?
Yeah, I don't
have
remember Keno.
My glasses.
So.
Can you make it a little bigger? Every surrounding communities have establishment to cater to locals. No one needs to go downtown anymore. Oh, isn't that the sad truth? That I wish we could rebuild the downtown.
Cliff, on this food thing for bars, how long has that been a hard staff rule? You got to have it done. You got to do it.
I don't know. As long as I've been on the commission, as long as I've lived in Lowell.
So it might behoove you to consider saying, look, minimum requirement is to cook hot dogs, hamburgers, or have a deli to make little subs, or you can make pizza. And put that out to everybody and say, you have 3 years to conform. Because in order to do this, you're going to put a wicked expensive vent in to cook anything. To find them out, oh no, you can't use a regular stove for that. You need a bazillion-dollar chimney that collects everything. And I'm sure you've seen them. Like when I walk out of a restaurant, and you hear the air getting sucked in the door. It's because they have their vent on in the kitchen that sucks all the air out of the building. It's very expensive to operate this unit. Any heat you might have in the building, any air conditioning you might have in the building gets sucked right out because of this vent. And I think it's financially very difficult for the boss to conform. I think that's why they take the easy way out. Hot dogs, you can just boil them. Or you can buy one of those rolling things that just rolls them. Could you do like a three-year, you got 3 years to do it or no? It has to be right this second.
Well, my impression is that the current establishments all do a fairly good job of conforming to the rules. So
it's gone by that board. Okay, understood.
I can answer Eileen's question. Kathy just pulled up on her phone for me. It says, no, standard bars and restaurants in Florida do not have Keno because the state's laws make it a misdemeanor for them to host games of chance like Keno. Keno is only legally available at state-sanctioned locations, primarily the Seminole casinos in Florida. So they don't allow gambling. That's probably why, like I said, I never saw anything in any of the places we went to. So they don't allow it in Florida.
Yeah, so they keep it very different, separated,
Yep.
which makes sense.
If we paid the people on this show, Kathy would get part of the pay.
Well, she's not up necessarily when we start at 6. At 6, but she does get up and start listening to it. So she's helping me out with questions. Why? Because I'm on my phone here talking to you. She's looking it up. So.
Comment from the audience. Will more places start selling breakfast at their establishments? Bacon and eggs and a shot, $2.99.
I expect it would be more than $2.99, but yeah.
That's for sure. I think this.
Ralph, you need to drag that mic closer to your mouth.
I
please.
hate to step out here. It's not my area, but I think insurance has something to do with it. Maybe we have to get Mike Conway on the phone to figure it out. But I think insurance plays a factor in why different establishments have food and some don't, because it affects their insurance rates. If you serve food, it's a lower cost.
Well, it's becoming more and more difficult. The local government keeps sticking their finger in their pocket. And, they want to park in front of your store? It's $1 an hour. So they just, what do you mean? Now, Vesna Noon, like him or not like him, he got all the parking meters pulled out of the Highlands. Single-handedly. He threw up such a storm that Bernie Lynch was like, get him out of there. Get him out of there.
It makes sense. If you go to Concord, Mass, or some other city town, they give you an hour or so of free parking. So if you want to do business with anybody, you just park, go in, as long as it's not more than an hour.
Yeah, but your daughter doesn't need a job, so that's why. If your daughter needed a job, you'd be all for parking.
I'm just saying that other towns don't raise money on parking fees.
I'm with you, but they'll say it's in the budget. It's in the budget. It's in the budget.
I was buying a hat one Christmas at Parrot Hatters, and the meter maid, I was in college, young, the meter maid, I went in to get a quarter to put in the meter. And the guy was, the older gentleman, I forget his name, nice guy. and he was making change, across the room, and I went over to get the quarter, and I turned around, the meter maid's, writing the ticket, and I go out and say, I just went in to get the quarter, too bad. I got it, and I don't think I've been downtown since to buy clothing, because it was insulting. I mean,
Parrot Head has been gone for over 20 years.
I know, and I understand, but my point is the meter maid and the meters raise money
They're only doing their job.
and they drive people away.
It's the city council that needs to be blamed for this, and because the fact that they charge until 8 p.m., I called them the greedy city council. They're just greedy. I'm going to read this text here. I don't think you can play the lottery in Weston, or it's very limited, yet they receive lottery funds for education. I don't know how that whole thing happens.
I don't know how they divide it out either.
The cherry sheets.
So,
A good chunk of lottery money goes to education.
since we have Ralph here, I see where Outfit Homes for All Massachusetts are trying to garner the 75,000 signatures to put on the ballot a initiative to protect tenants by limiting rent increases on the November 2026 ballot. So these are people that want to put in rent restrictions, sort of like Mandami in New York. I just don't think that makes good economic sense.
It doesn't. It certainly doesn't. I mean, what happens to the plumber, electrician, tradesman that buys a duplex and has it as an investment going towards retirement? What you're saying is you can't increase the rent as taxes go up, as inflation goes up, as everything goes up, and you can't increase the rent. It's handcuffs the tenant. Then you go to the other end of the spectrum. They're crying for more housing. There's not enough housing. There's people that need housing. You can't have it both ways. You either work with people and have housing to rent, but you can't create more housing and tell the people you can't pay for it, or the landlord can't meet his
Ralph,
bill.
rarely do we have a chance to do anything about it. Right now, early voting's open. If you want to go and early vote, head over to the senior center, get yourself a nice lunch, $2.50 today, and vote them out of office. Because if you don't vote them out of office, this will just continue. They like what we're doing. They reelected me, see?
Socialism doesn't work. It didn't work back with the Pilgrims.
No.
Reading these two texts to you, it says, Home Run Comrade, if we learn anything from the pandemic, is keep government out of our establishments. And the next one from Jay, the city increases parking fees during events, dumb management. That's true, they do have premium parking. Their new electronic parking meters, it's $25 to park on the street.
Crazy.
Okay, so can you throw the state seal up again?
I gotta go find it.
Charlie Baker signed a bill back in 2021 establishing a commission to change the state flag and seal. And the commission,
What's it gonna be, free money?
I don't know. The commission
Be a check?
voted out in May of 2022, 3 years ago, unanimously recommending a change to the state symbols. And I don't know what they're going to do. The motto that you can't read there, loosely translated, is, "By the sword we seek peace, but peace only under liberty." So,
Do you know anybody who dresses like that anymore? Can you imagine showing up for a licensing board meeting dressed like this?
That's supposed to be a Native American?
So you can't buy an outfit like that down at Marshall's?
No.
Okay. If you walk down the street into City Hall with a sword, I think they'll arrest you. And I'm here for peace. Doesn't that represent peace, Cliff?
Yeah. Well, this relates back to the subject in the first hour about recognizing the indigenous people, the Native Americans who were here when Europeans got here. Is this disrespectful to them, or is it a way of honoring our heritage, our Native American heritage? So, I don't know. Ralph, do you want to change the seal and spend that money?
I can't believe that with the problems and the issues that we have in the city and the state, that they form a commission to even address this. I think they're out of their league.
All right.
This is genius. The state seal has 1 star on it. Is that a rating?
Good point.
1 out of 5? That was genius, thank you.
I would think that's supposed to be the North Star guiding us on.
That was our rating. We only have a 1-star rating. Genius, that was good.
Eileen, what do you think?
What did I do with my phone? Sorry. What do I think? I don't think we should mess with history. I think it's too, it's something we should preserve because it's part of our story, whether or not it's contested or not.
Oh. Mike, do you think we ought to change our seal?
Your seal for the state?
Yeah.
I mean, we went through all that in New York where you couldn't have any indigenous names on any of the high schools. They made all the schools change their names. Like, for example, I lived near Canandaigua, and their thing was the Canandaigua Braves. They had to change their name because that was offensive, even though the local tribe in the area had no problem with that and it said it was fine with them. So the state just made a decision that that's offensive, any Indian names like that, and the schools, the cost for all the schools to do that was tremendous. It was just crazy.
Thank
and
you,
what about
Mr.
kids
Bureaucrat.
like me who get used to, one way, and now it's supposed to be a whole different way? What about people who have trouble with change? And it basically takes away everything that they've learned. I mean, granted, there's lots to learn about Indigenous People Day still, but for people who have always grown up and known this as Columbus Day and so forth, and it's really difficult to kind of shift change after years of what it has been.
I think the new flag...
It's always been a part of teaching in Massachusetts about the colonists and the Indians.
I believe the new flag should just be an arrow.
I don't understand it after a while, it's just...
An arrow pointing north that says, "Save yourself, move to New Hampshire." Move to New Hampshire. This is stupid. These are the examples on the screen here, what we're going to have. I'll slide this over a little bit.
Well, that's what we have now, right?
So these guys right here.
Can you blow that up?
I don't think so. Slide it back over this way. Here we have a whale on top of a bird. What the hell kind of sense does that make?
None.
Welcome to
It's an
Massachusetts.
ecological approach.
Move to New Hampshire. Here's this one here. A UFO over the ocean. Has a star. It doesn't know what the hell this is. And then they have this one here of birds.
That's a chickadee.
Okay. Thank you.
I spent a lot of money, and I don't think we're going to accomplish anything.
Move to New Hampshire.
Well, wait a minute now, John. What happens if we, take the public officials that are involved in this and send them to New Hampshire?
Don't vote for them.
That's what I'm getting at. Don't vote for
Like
them.
right
Send them
now,
to
you
New Hampshire.
got a serious candidate running for the late great Eddie Kennedy's state senate seat, Roddy Elliott, and you got a woman who doesn't have the courage to stand up and fight for anything, running against him. And who's the Democratic City Committee want?
That's going to be an interesting
The
fight.
weaker candidate. Just my take.
Okay. So, Arlene, MCAS scores are in, right?
Yes.
And we're doing a little bit better, but not as well as we were doing back, say, in 2010?
2019. Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, so the metrics Wold's using is that even prior to COVID, we had more schools in need of intervention, and now we're at the lowest rate of that. We only have 4 schools in need of intervention, which are Lowell High, the Robinson, the Sullivan, and the STEM Academy. But, if you look back, they've been in the red for some while. And so what are we doing? I think that the superintendent has a great way of collecting data, right? I think they have that machine in place. Now, what are we going to do to improve this data for these kids? Because, the MCAS scores don't really correlate with much of, I know it's supposed to correlate with the curriculum, but it doesn't really translate into how any one teacher teaches it and helps the student. It's a one-time assessment of good luck, right? And some kids are good test takers and some kids aren't.
Why don't we teach the kids how to take tests?
I recommended that, but I guess there's no value in that. Somebody mentioned to me. But if kids aren't grasping how to take the test, but they get the content, right? But the way it's worded on a test is too confusing, then yeah, I think that they definitely should learn how to take the test. But there's those kids that don't get the content, and there's kids that don't get how. If you can't comprehend the content, how are you going to comprehend how to take the test? You know what I mean? So we have a huge gap of, right? We have a gap of content versus test taken versus how the MCAS is worded versus how teachers are wording it who are in the classroom every day. So if you ask me, they should have more Massachusetts teachers involved in creating these tests, especially now that it's not a requirement.
Okay, we got 2 texts.
First one says that they could have a wind farm killing the whales as the state seal. That would be closer to reality. Great show today, Mr. Hogan. Hit a grand slam. Send our elected officials out of here.
That first comment hits the money because
Closer to
the
the microphone,
whales,
Ralph.
the surveys,
Closer to the microphone.
the first question about the seal, the windmills and the magnetic technology used to locate the windmills beached the whales. So you had 2 different groups of environmentalists going after each other. Instead of working together, one was against the windmills, and the windmills didn't care about the whales. Technology and high tech, and it's good, but it has to be reasonable. And they had way too many subsidies for those windmills. I was out, as I mentioned when I first came into Palm Springs, and for $95, you could get in a bus and take a tour of windmills. Well, we had a rental car, and my wife wanted to take a tour of Hollywood, Star Homes, and the old Sinatra and Peter Lawford, and all those, Marilyn Monroe. There was a bunch of them that had homes out there, and they were lovely. $20, and you did it from your own rental car on the internet. And we drove by all the windmills.
Hey,
And half of them aren't even working.
I did the same thing in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I saw William Shatner take his trash out. Went by William Shatner's house. There he was pulling his barrels out. Pretty cool stuff. Tomorrow's show, Bobby Hogan's going to be here. Excuse me, coughed my head off. Eric Gitchier, Cisco Maldonado, Sean McDonough, and Tommy Bobo. That's tomorrow's show. Back to you guys. Time is short, Cliff.
When you were out in Palm Springs, did you take the ride
line?
up to the top of the hill?
No. No. My bride is not a fan of open air heights.
Oh, okay.
But the weather was great.
Well, of course it was.
It was. I would go back.
Except it's always cold at night. But yeah.
So you put a sweater on.
That's someone described the desert as a cold place that's warm during the day.
It's dark. I don't like to drive in.
Then we drove up to the desert to Las Vegas to make sure it's still functioning.
Now. So that's good. Any last thoughts, Eileen?
Hello? Sorry, what'd you say?
Any last thoughts?
No, have a good week, everybody. Pray for everybody in Jamaica and where that Hurricane Melissa is
Yeah,
coming
good thought.
from,
That's
because
good.
It sounds
Say a
like
prayer.
it's going to be pretty devastating.
When's it heading to Florida?
It's not going to be hitting Florida, so.
What would you do with
Just
35
before
inches
I
of rain?
forget, I just wanted to mention today is National Civics Day. So if you want to understand your civics, today is the day to do it. It's also National American Beer Day. So if you're thirsty, get an American beer.
Say goodbye, everybody. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.